Bakersfield or Kern County to come be overhead of this and relieve whoever's there with their helicopter right now. But just these really wild situations. And the only good thing about the driving on the shoulder like this is we have seen several times recently where these drivers are going so crazy on the shoulder and they kick up debris and they end up essentially spiking themselves.
Exactly.
That's right.
And the car comes to an end. So hopefully that will be a situation that we'll see.
Well, we have certainly seen her on both sides of the shoulders there and going at an extremely high rate of speed, still going well over 100 miles an hour. And Dave Avalar, oftentimes when these drivers are going so fast, we know that the cruisers will back off a little bit to see if the driver will slow down. But in this case, it doesn't seem like it's impacting her at all, whether a cruiser is right behind her or back a little ways.
Yeah, what they're trying to do is they're trying to de-escalate it. They're trying to calm the driver down, but I don't think that's going to happen here. So I think what the CHP is doing, and we've seen it so many times with them, is that they're going to stay right on them. And Mike, you're absolutely right about the shoulders. There's a lot of debris there. In fact, we've seen the chippies here a while back. They kind of refuse to go on the shoulder.
Wow, Dave, let me tell you, like Amy says, just from us here on the desk, the anxiety level that we're experiencing just watching this car narrowly miss some of those orange cones or dividers there. Mike was saying that those split lanes. I think, Mike, this is what we're looking at.
Between them.
That's what we're seeing. Yeah, that's what the CHP was worried about. And hopefully, I mean, we see the cones. Hopefully there are no workers in the middle of the freeway here having to navigate getting out of the way of this person, because clearly she is unwilling to follow any kind of rules of the road here. She's up on the shoulder. Oh gosh, yeah, the Fort Tejon unit said they're going to try to pick it up once she gets out of this construction area, but at this point it doesn't appear that there's anybody right immediately behind her on the ground. They are aware, the CHP is helping. We are essentially helping CHP. I do hear them talking about how they are watching this on TV to kind of keep an eye on her as well. So that's why you don't see any of those. Yeah, they're asking the Newhall units to get out of this and stop chasing her, and then the Fort Tejon units will pick up somewhere as we cross the Kern County line now into Kern County.
What's the difference in area, Mike? Do you know Fort Tejon versus Newhall?
Yeah, Fort Tejon is at the very, very top of the grapevine on the Kern County side. Newhall will chase it all the way up to the 5. Newhall is Palmdale, Lancaster, Santa Clarita, north to the LA County line. And then the Fort Tejon units are on the other side of the county line in Kern County, and then you'll get into the Bakersfield units once she gets further down. So we are within Kern County right now, just passing Lebec.
Look, amazing. Lebec to Tehachapi there on our map, on our map tracker. Incredible just how much distance she's covered in the time that we've been on the air here. You were saying it started in the Devonshire area here. Now we're heading into a whole other county. So, my goodness. And again, just very dangerous driving. And some of these drivers on the road just have zero idea what's just coming up behind them. And you can see there's fewer lanes there for this driver to get, around traffic. I mean, again, the anxiety level is high for officers, for that driver, and for anybody watching this, really.
And she's just so aggressive. And when you have the cruisers close behind and you hear the sirens and you see the flashing lights, you're made aware as a driver that something's going on. But when those cars back off and she's just flying up behind you, we've all had one of those speeders come up behind us. You're trying to change lanes and then all of a sudden there they are. So this is very dangerous. If anyone makes a quick lane change, she's right there.
And there's a lot of fishtailing there, Mike. You can see when she basically goes off the asphalt there of the freeway and kind of hits the shoulder. There's a little bit of she loses control for just a second. Fishtailing, which again makes it all that much more dangerous for anybody who might be near her if she does lose control of the car.
Yeah, and the whole design of what's tracking mode or surveillance mode is to get these people to slow down thinking they're not being chased. There are no units really within eyeshot of her at all, and that is clearly not impacting her in any way. She is uninterested in stopping whether or not there are units behind her. Thankfully, it looks like we're out of that construction zone now, so we'll see if any of the Fort Tehachapi units get involved. I did just hear that there is still an LAPD airship that is overhead of this, which is obviously way out of their area now. I did hear them try to request somebody from Kern County, either CHP Kern County or maybe Kern County Sheriff or somebody that can come in and replace that LAPD ship, as they are well out of their kind of area now. I did also hear something about Air 51, so we'll see if they're going to kind of try to catch up to this as well. But that LAPD ship still going with it. They're on the radio with the Fort Tejon units, who are probably going to try to get into place now. The Newhall units backed out when they got into the construction zone, but well over triple digits here on a very dangerous stretch of road, even at normal speeds.
And Mike, this is a case where they're not going into tracking mode or letting this driver think, okay, hey, you got away from us.
Yeah.
We'll catch up with you later. Something pretty serious must be, other than the erratic driving, something really serious must be known by officials here. I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, you would think so. CHP generally doesn't, even for minor wants, CHP generally doesn't do surveillance or tracking. They'll do it if it gets off on surface streets. But just from my experience, generally, if we're on a freeway or a state highway or something like this, CHP will pretty much stick with it. They're the most, I'll say, liberal agencies of chasing cars. They'll chase something. This isn't even their want originally. They took it over from the LAPD, who was originally chasing this. So CHP will stick with it. What got them to back off, though, was that really tight construction zone and her just complete lack of care while driving through that, not only for the people on the road, but the people that are working in that construction zone and all those other things, just weaving and kind of threading the needle here in and out of these cars.
And those orange dividers, mostly they're filled with water,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
So they use the water to kind of weight them down. And the way she threaded the needle there when she went through that those two orange dividers, I mean, that's scary. I mean, I wouldn't know if there was water or cement inside one of those things. And she just blew right through there.
She did hit one before she went through the two. And, she's going so fast and in such a sharp contrast. A lot of these trucks are going relatively slow. So, her going in and out of this traffic is just so dangerous. If she were to hit one of these trucks, it really is going to be pretty catastrophic.
Yeah, definitely. Go ahead,
Dave?
Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I was going to say that the one key incident, like what you were mentioning before, they had where the units will pull back, hoping that she slows down. She doesn't, but obviously she's not. So it comes up to the fact that the suspect's activity is elevated, or their dangerous driving continues. In the public's best interest, they'll re-engage pursuit. Which, as you had mentioned, Mike, the CHP we have seen, they pretty much stay with them. But even now, she slowed down a bit. So we'll see what happens, even though she almost cut off that little U-Haul truck.
Yeah.
It is incredible to watch here, Dave. And, we're mentioning that the LAPD unit is still above. CHP is right behind her there. So they could follow this up until she runs out of gas. They really have no limit, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And it's... if they can get LAPD trying to get hold of Kern County or the CHP trying to get their ships up, then they can just follow this forever. Yeah.
Dave, a question for you. Mike was telling us that CHP is actually watching our choppers, SkyCal, and keeping tabs on what's going on here. In your time in the chopper there, if you had to pull away or go to another location or just refuel, how oftentimes did you use media helicopters as a partner in law enforcement?
I'm sure we had, but to tell you the truth, when it comes time for that, I'll just tell my partner, say, hey, partner, we're getting low on fuel. I can make this airport over here with the required amount of fuel because you're supposed to have so much fuel when you land. So, we'll go ahead and so. But we have used them before where even on regular calls, what I started doing at the very end of my career was I would come in and say, okay, hey, TV ships. Police 3, I'm going to go ahead and take everything from,
she's getting
say, 900 feet down, and you got everything above.
Dave, you might be on a delay, but it looks like she's getting off here on exit 219B. Looks like it's Laval Road. Mike Rogers, what's going on here?
Yeah, so Laval Road, there's a gas station there. But I can't tell, did she transition? She may have transitioned down to Wheeler Ridge. So the outlet's at Fort Tejon. If any of you have ever driven north on the 5, that is where she generally is right now. And I'm trying to see, there's the outlets on the left side of the screen. So it'll be interesting to see if she's trying to make a move to get back on to go south, if she's going to, go shopping or what her exact plan is here. Through the intersection,
Thought she was going to do a U-turn there, Mike, as you were saying, to get back onto the freeway, but she's basically moving farther and farther away from the freeway, right?
And I'm trying to figure out Laval Road. I can't tell if she's on. Yeah, she is on Laval Road still. Okay, so here's the freeway.
Yep.
Now, did we join it southbound? Yeah, we're back southbound. Okay. So we're going to come back to where we started.
Yes.
Made it all the way to Kern County, made it to the outlets at Fort Tejon, and that was good. She's on her way back. So now we'll see, all those CHP units that were at the LA County line that stopped there. We'll see.
Waiting.
Yeah, they're going to be in a great spot to pick her back up.
Yeah, but unfortunately, when she got off like that, that's an opportunity for pit maneuvers, for spike strips, but none of that's going to happen at these speeds on a freeway. And there she is, still going nearly 100 miles an hour in the slow lane. And you have to wonder if she's thinking about maybe getting off again. Maybe she has an idea where she wants to go, or hoping to figure out an exit plan. But for this time now, she's staying on that slow lane, which in the past she was mostly on the fast lane.
Yep. And what we know right now is this is a CHP pursuit of a stolen vehicle there, this SUV. Taken, we believe, in the Devonshire area, in the west-northwest part of the San Fernando Valley here. And for a good portion of this pursuit, the driver going at speeds of up to and above 100 miles an hour on the I-5 northbound, heading farther and farther away from the LA area, crossed county lines, and now got off on Laval Road and basically jumped back onto the freeway southbound. So again, as Mike was saying, law enforcement basically figuring out what they're going to do next. They know she's heading back southbound. A lot of units were already headed in this direction here. Mike, have you heard anything else from your sources there?
So I did just hear them notify the units, the LA County units, that she is flipped back around and coming back south. So we'll see if they get back involved in it. It just makes you kind of point out the fact here that this person probably has no plan, right?
Yes.
They made it all the way to the county line and then decided to turn back and come back around. So were they trying to figure out if they were still being chased? What was their kind of thought process behind this? Whoever this person is probably has more of a tie to the LA County area, which is why when they got all the way up there, they realized, I don't really know what I'm going to do up here. Let me come back south. Whether or not they know that we're still above them, and whether or not they know that law enforcement still knows where they are is kind of unclear. But as John zooms out there, you see there are still no ground units anywhere behind her. And I can't tell, and John, if you can tell me on the radio, is that LAPD helicopter still with you guys?
Right, Mike's talking to our...
No, he's not.
No,
so he's not. So CHP is just monitoring this with us. I'm listening to him still talking about it again on the radio. So we'll see if these LA County units want to get back involved in this.
So, Mike, the CHP is watching our signal right now and basically figuring out what's next?
That's kind of what it sounds like, is that they're watching the news helicopters on it. LAPD stayed with it all the way, through the Kern County line, and then probably, I assume, realized that they were, further away from where they needed to be than they were. So they turned back around. I don't know if it was a fuel situation or what. And that's when I had heard them request some air operations from Kern County. But now that we're coming back southbound, we'll see if there are any CHP air units that can get involved in this, or if anybody's going to come join this, if those LA County units, ground units want to get back on it, or what their plan's going to be.
Well, the one advantage here is that she has certainly slowed down.
Yeah.
I mean, we're now down around the 80s, 70 miles an hour, and that is a lot lower than when we saw her heading northbound going 123 miles per hour. So this is certainly an advantage here that she has slowed down, and a little less dangerous for everyone else that's out there on the road.
And maybe the going downhill has something to do with it. Remember, Dave was telling us that the big concern is not when the driver is going uphill. That'll kind of keep them at some rates of speed. But when you're going downhill and gravity is pulling you further down, things could be a lot different. If you're going at high rates of speed, the car could be a lot harder to control. And as you see here right now, Amy, 76 miles an hour, not too bad.
And
Hey,
less
Ron?
traffic.
Yes, Dave.
Yeah, I was going to say there's a couple of other things that I'm looking at. I'm thinking too is that de-escalation. They don't see the black and whites behind them, the horn, the siren.
Okay.
The other thing too is what we often see is that once they get to an unfamiliar area, they come back into LA, or they come back to where they're familiar with. And I think you guys are right that she got up there. She's not familiar. Found her way again to head back south where she's familiar with the LA area. That's just what I'm thinking here, especially since she went to the number 1 lane now. So she's and you're right, Amy. She's the speed had gotten down to at least a decent speed, 80, 70. Every now and then she kicks it up, but I think not having those black and whites behind her right now, it's kind of like de-escalated the situation.
Well, Dave, if she's going to end up in jail, I think she wants to be a little closer to
home.
Whoever's going to bail her out, right?
Well, and I can tell you she's not going to be alone for long. The LA County units are standing by. They're just waiting for her. There's an LA County Sheriff's helicopter that's on the way. So her time alone is not going to be for long. And I just noticed something, and I don't, John, if you have a chance to get on the passenger side, it looked like there was some, maybe part of the car that was hanging off on the passenger side. So I don't know if she swapped paint at all or it didn't look like any major damage, but it did look like something was flapping around
She
there.
did hit one of those
the
large
cones,
orange
that's right.
barrels, and so she might have done some damage when she hit that barrel. Yeah. So he's seeing
it would've been
some
the right
trim
one.
that is hanging
Yeah.
off there.
Yeah, right there flapping, yeah.
And that might be when she hit that orange barrel, right
And
before
early-
she zoomed
yeah.
between the two.
And earlier, Mike, when we were looking at this very shot here, it looked like there may have been an iPad or something in the passenger seat. You could see like the glow of some sort of, like I said, phone or some sort of iPad. So at least we know there's nobody in the passenger seat. My guess is there's nobody in the back seat except this one we believe is a woman driver leading a CHP and LAPD on a high-speed pursuit through the Newhall Pass, back now into the LA County area. Looks like she's on the I-5 South at West Kern.
Yeah, we're coming back up on that that overpass where we send all the reporters in the snow.
That's right.
So Fraser Mountain Park Road. So we're coming up on that. So she'll be crossing back into LA County here very soon. Which, not to second guess the suspect here, but if she had continued north, she may have had a little bit of a better shot because they lost the air units and there were no ground units behind her. But she is coming back southbound where these LA County units are about to be waiting for her.
And those air units, whether us or LAPD or CHP, Mike, they're also limited by fuel, right? If they've been up for a while or if they're running low on fuel, they may just have to pull back and let this one go. But it looks like they're not doing that.
No, and the one that's coming, the new one that's coming, is not the same one that was there. So this one is coming out of Long Beach. Looks like it's an LA County Sheriff's helicopter. And they look like they just kind of launched from Long Beach. So they are probably, hopefully, with a fresh tank of fuel coming down. She's just now about to cross into the LA County line.
And as you know, Mike, being in the chopper, I was in our chopper too. It's incredible the amount of area and distance we can cover in a very short amount of time. So while you're thinking Long Beach, my goodness, if you're in traffic, that'll take us 2 hours to get there now. But in the air, you can get there very quickly.
Yeah, really quickly, and you cover a lot of ground quickly, not limited to traffic like she is, and all of those other kind of issues. We're lucky that it is a clear day and we can be up over this. This is, usually on our nighttime shows, this is where pursuits go to die, and we can't follow them through the grapevine here because of the light, but it is a clear day, and we were able to follow it. LAPD was able to follow it, and now she's coming back down, and it sounds like the sheriffs are going to get involved as well.
And they're going to be fresh.
They're going to be
what
fresh.
she's doing, driving this fast, it's a lot of stress. It takes a lot of energy to be dodging these large trucks and going well over 100 miles an hour. So you're going to have fresh deputies that are going to be behind her that have not been driving for a little over an hour.
And who know what
there's-
she's doing. Yeah.
There's the first unit. You see it back here. John's got it in the bottom of his shot. So there's a unit. Doesn't look like they're lit up yet. They may be waiting for one additional before they put the lights and sirens on it. But what we'll have to see is if that causes her to start going crazy and driving like she was before, before they all backed off and before she realized that they weren't right behind her anymore. And here we go, starting kind of with this swerving.
And no spike strip, obviously, Mike. No pit maneuver. This is one of those things like Dave was telling us.
There's the unit.
We get to the end when we get to the end, right?
Yeah, and the good news about where she's been going in this very mountainous area is that she's using up a lot of fuel, right? Going up and down the grapevine is definitely going to chew through some fuel. So hopefully that is eating up the fuel tank here. I'm just listening to some of the radio traffic here, and they're getting some more units in this, and then hopefully the sheriff's helicopter will be overhead as well soon.
Yeah, well, she was going at 120 miles per hour uphill, so we know she was burning through a good amount of fuel while she was heading up there. Of course, now it's more downhill, but she's getting back up there with the speeds as she sees that cruiser there behind her, and we'll have to see if that aggressive driving begins again, because there for a little while she kind of calmed down, going 70 miles an hour, and maybe she was thinking she had gotten away.
And it has to be stressful the way she was driving before, because she did narrowly miss several hits in traffic right there. So speeds, high 80s right now, 86, 87 miles an hour, and hard to ignore if you're that driver in that stolen SUV, that there are units behind you and getting closer, not letting you go on this one.
Yeah, and that, she's slowly starting to pick up the speed. Now we're up over 100 again.
Yeah.
You saw a little bit of that of evasive maneuvers when she was kind of weaving back and forth through the cars. So we'll see. I mean, this is not obviously the situation that we want, but remember how long, even after they backed off, how long it took her to finally stop driving, kind of as crazy as she was. But here we are at 120, all lanes of traffic now back and forth across the southbound 5 as she's going to thread the needle between these big rigs and these cars and really going at it. And unfortunately, we're going downhill where she's not going to have to use as much gas as she was before. So we'll see what CHP is going to do, if they're just going to wait this out and hope she runs out of fuel. But look, that unit backed off as soon as she started driving like that. That unit's pretty far back now.
And it seems, Mike, the traffic may be a little lighter heading southbound. I'm
Yeah.
just looking at the northbound traffic. It looks a little heavier. She has a little more open road here, it seems like.
Wow, she is flying
Yes.
now, though, at 100 and almost 30 miles an hour. You saw that second CHP unit getting on the freeway. So
Yes.
they're there. Oh, barely.
So
And all it
close.
takes is that. All it takes is her not being able to hold onto that wheel when she comes into the back of a semi-truck like that, or a box truck, and that's going to cause significant damage.
Well, and just the momentum, Mike, right? If she loses control and the car starts to tip, it's just going to keep rolling over till it comes to a stop.
Yeah.
Very dangerous.
You're going those speeds. It takes very
Yeah.
little to lose control. You could just hit, a
Anything.
bump in the road, a pothole, anything, and you're going to lose control of that vehicle.
Even some loose gravel at 130 miles
Yeah.
an hour if you aren't holding the wheel just the right way.
And we did notice a little earlier when we actually had the camera shooting through the window, you saw she had her hands, both hands on
Both
the
hands
wheel.
on the
She
wheel.
was certainly focused there in driving, even between putting on that sweater and perhaps taking it off again. But certainly an aggressive driver here going 120 miles an hour.
And Mike, these are one of these pursuits that, we have so many that happen here in Southern California. These are the ones where I'm more and more interested in the backstory of this woman. It's like, why did she take off? Why was this SUV targeted by her, and why wouldn't she stop? It just makes the whole story just that much more interesting. And again, the fact that most pursuit suspects tend to be men, the fact that she's a woman adds more interest to this pursuit as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And just not knowing, we've not heard any kind of radio traffic about it's a known suspect, it's anything that, that they can, wide turn.
whoa,
My
whoa,
goodness.
whoa.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so I didn't want to give it away in case they were watching. There was a spike strip. So CHP was trying to do a spike off in the dirt. Oh my God.
That's
Oh, my
exactly what we're
goodness.
talking about.
Right under that. Oh,
That's what we were
Wow.
just talking about, Mike.
Losing
Is
control.
you lose control, you're just going to keep rolling over
And up
over
against that embankment underneath. And
over.
I know John's trying to move SkyCal around to see where that car ended up, but that that's not gonna be a good situation once there's their guys, they're gonna roll fire here and get them out there. But that was an intense, really high speed collision here. She lost control off that side
And
of the
she
freeway.
may have hit some railing there
Yeah,
as
definitely
well.
took out part of the guardrail. And what I believe is, John's moving around, but what I believe is right under there, she may have hit the underside of the pillar there of the
oh yeah.
of the underpass. So
Let's hope she had a seatbelt on, Mike, because if she wasn't
Yeah.
ejected from this car crash, we're starting to see a little bit of the vehicle
and there's the car, and of course,
It is upright.
still upright.
after it rolled though, I think that's how it ended
Look
up.
at the damage on that.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is exactly what law enforcement does not want to see. We don't want pursuits to end this way. We want people to stop, slow down, do whatever, give up. But this is just horrible for everybody. The officers that have to walk up there to that vehicle and take a look at the individual inside. I've done that before, and the first thing you think of is the family that that you have to notify and stuff. But this is really, really sad.
And there's
So
nowhere to
sad
go
see
here. Guys watching this, you can see that there's a railing in front.
Yeah.
There comes an officer with, looks like a medevac bagger, right, Mike?
It's
Some
a
sort of
fire
medical-
extinguisher. He's
Oh, a
saying
fire
on
extinguisher.
the radio, he's saying the car is on fire. I don't
Oh,
see that,
my gosh.
obviously, but he's obviously closer than we are. I just want to let you guys know, I played back the tape on this. She crashed at 115 miles an hour. Yeah, we're not going to replay it just because of the nature of the crash and how violent it was, and we don't know how this person is doing it all. But I just wanted to let you know that the speed of that was at 115 miles an hour when she came off the freeway.
And we were just talking about how easy it is to lose control.
Real quick, they just put out what's called an 1144. John, if you can back out just a little bit. 1144, they're saying obvious death. which
God.
is exactly what we were concerned of. That officer right there just put out over the radio that this is an obvious 1144, that they believe this woman is now dead after a result of this crash. Of course, the fire department will still come and make that final determination, but the officer believes that there are obvious signs of
So
that.
imagine that, Mike, that just on first inspection, they could tell this is a DOA, right? I mean, how violent of a crash and what they're seeing inside that car right now to lead